So it's been a while since I've done an INFJ related video, and I wanted to cover a topic, and I have to cover it in a way that, at least, because if I use can INFJs be manipulative, sounds very negative. I think in a way INFJs can be very influential, and a way to present this where it's not a negative, because in our day-to-day life, even with our own brains, we influence ourselves every single moment of the day, or how we interact with our environment. We are influenced by our environment, and we influence our environment, be it INFJ or not. But I guess INFJs have kind of a cognitive functioning stack that does make it somewhat easy in a way to be influential in people's lives, or influence or help suggest ways of people going about their day-to-day lives. And I'll give even a real-life example of currently an active form of influence that I'm having that's of positive effect, but I'll get to that. Psychology, another form of influencing, like helping you see yourself from different perspectives, sort of thing, or helping you make healthier life choices. Medical field, sort of thing, dietitians, for example, giving health advice, all these things to help guide your life, sort of thing. And where's the INFJ sit in this? So we have introverted intuition, our dominant function. We also have extroverted feeling, and we also have in there introverted thinking. So if you've ever gone back in some of my videos, I hardly go, I extrovertly feel on this sort of thing. I tend to say how I think about this, or I tend to use the word think more than how I feel, even though feeling is my second slot. So it's how I that would be next to how I perceive the world, with introverted intuition being the first, and introverted intuition being a very abstract perceiving function, sort of thing. We take in data, we either subject people down to kind of like concepts or abstract concepts, similar in that movie Autnomica, or I can never say that word properly, but kind of a representation of a person, and also putting the extroverted feeling in there, so feeling in your shoes, basically, how you think or feel, role-playing that and making a logical decision out of that. And in the MBTI world, the INFJ is kind of known as the counselor, the advocate. There's probably other names that you could give to it, but it's known as a counselor role. So as I've said, a counselor can actually help influence your decisions on even just viewing yourself, whether you see yourself in a negative light, sort of thing, helping you shift, reframe. I've used that word quite a bit on this channel, is reframing a belief system, looking at something from a different perspective. And some INFJs, no, we're not all like cookie cutter sort of molded sort of thing. We might be hugely interested in humans and their psychology, or it might be more of a bothersome thing, or that interest could become the bothersome thing. But when we look at people on an individual level, and this happens to me quite regularly. If you ever see me out with the headphones in, it's kind of like my little shield sort of thing, because it's like if I don't, I tend to have I could be just sitting there. It happens to me in laundromats, it happens to me in movie theaters. Basically, a lot of people open up to me. It's just that. But me being me, I am interested in people. It's like I run a business helping people. It's a caring job that I do. So I'm interested in that, and there will be a part of me that takes a keen interest in that person's problem, and we'll start to piece together what is happening for them, and it might offer a solution that resonates for them. And this can actually help influence their decision, or if they are stuck in making a decision or stuck within themselves, that offering a different view can actually help unstick or change the course, like a river sort of thing, change the course, change the direction, where they can flow a bit more easier. And these sorts of things are something that comes natural, and it's not a conscious choice, like, well, I'm not like sitting down there going, well, I'm going to offer this advice to this person. It just happens of itself. It's like, once again, kind of like a subconscious habit. Like with breathing, I don't have to consciously think about it. I can bring attention to my breath, but I don't have to consciously do it. It just comes natural. So this can actually happen on an individual and on a group level. There's been many times where it be in like work situations, like when I was with organizations and that, where you would start to have an influence or start to change the direction of a conversation, present it in a different light. And it's kind of like with music in a way. It's like you start speaking in a certain way and people might more resonate with what you're saying. It's not that they're wholeheartedly agreeing, because they might take what you're saying and then run with that and like play it out more, and then it's like that is the course correction, because they might have been going down one alley and you've just presented another way, and however they play that out is up to them. But in a group situation, it can happen that way. Or in a conversation sense, it's like if someone's adamantly about like one strong belief, I might be like just offering slowly just little different points of view sort of thing, this little different alternating angles on how to look at something. And before long, that person might have changed their perception, or at least be open to accepting different perceptions of what they were perceiving. And I think that's what the INFJ is extraordinarily good at, is being very open-minded and also being very perceptive in the sense of offering different perceptions, not being fixated on one thing, because a lot of what we do will contradict ourselves as a way to understand ourselves, understand a problem. We won't just take basically something on face value, because it's not in our nature too. We love to question things. We love to go a bit deeper. So that can happen with people or anything. Of course, with the introverted intuition, we'll play that out. We'll see where that goes in the future of what you might look like in that role, and offer that as an option, and being realistic on that. We won't be sort of like if you're going into, I've had people wanting to go into support work thinking that it's easy money sort of thing. Some days it might be, other days you might be up against a wall getting threatened to be hit sort of thing, and these are situations that have happened for myself sort of thing. So we'll present that in a realistic sense, so we won't kind of sugarcoat it, because we also love going into the darker side of things. We love to explore that. We love harmony. We love balance. So if people are doing well, if people are achieving well, that makes us feel good as well. And if they're happy in themselves, that makes us happy. And that's, for myself, that's all the benefit that I get. If people are doing well in their lives, and if I could survive on that, then that's what I'd survive on, sort of thing. Unfortunately, we live in a financial world. But yeah, it's like we love the harmony. So if we're also in a room where it's like very conflicting or very one-way sort of thing, we might start to harmonize that, or bring alkalinity to an acidic situation, or add acidity to an alkaline situation. Like we're always focusing on the positive, it's not a good way to live your life sort of thing. So you need the negative in that sort of thing, which I've talked about on this channel. Now, that situation is that I'm currently doing, which this video will be currently, and then it'll be post that, because it's only a short amount of time that I can do it within. But there's a hospital that I'm having a positive influence on, and I'm doing it very subtly, because this is not an overt sort of a thing. I'm not talking about flying monkeys here. I'm just talking about how an INFJ will subtly harmonize or change an environment. So in this hospital environment, which was actually a hospital that I have a bit of a medical history with, a very brief medical history, which I had to advocate for myself. And if I hadn't self-advocated for myself, this channel or business wouldn't be in existence. Even though I had the support of the former marriage with me, it came down to self-advocacy. I was trying to, at that time, to a clinical nurse, demonstrate or prove a point. Eventually, due to like the self-advocacy, for my own benefit, actually proved to be beneficial because we have this channel. And I'm not heavily medicated again, sort of thing, because that was the intent of what they were trying to do, because you can't actually medicate CPTSD. Now, in this hospital environment, which is, I'm not actually, it's not me going to the hospital, it's in a more of a supportive role, is actually having a very harmonizing, very high energizing, healing aspect. And I can't attribute that to myself. I'm just helping influence that. I'm helping subtly change that through the same methods of what I was trying to demonstrate to the clinical nurse. So it's kind of like, it's a bit ironic, but I think in the sense of like, I've just been very subtly doing it. And that said, I've got a bit of a reputation for myself there, and it's all positive. No one, like I haven't got ill intent towards it. It's like seeing people do well, healing, is of benefit, and it kind of, in a way, shows that what I was trying to demonstrate at the time, without me going, okay, I'm going to demonstrate this in this environment, is actually helping, because I'm just very subtly doing it. And that is the art of the subtle INFJ influence. Yes, we've been called the puppet masters or the masterminds or whatever sort of thing, but I guess if you had an ill intent, or that sort of probably a negative view towards things, that could be quite devastating, I guess. But I think on a whole, we mean well, and we want others to do well. I mean, this is what this channel is about, to help others. But there is that, and once again, I'm not going out there going, how can I psychologically manipulate people sort of thing today. It's either people approaching me and me basically, and to be blunt, shutting my mouth, listening to what they're saying, and then offering suggestions or reflecting more so upon what they're presenting to me. And if some way that resonates for them, that actually helps them see something in a different light, where I'm not like actively saying, well, you need to do this sort of thing and now go out there and do it sort of thing, because I think there's a difference between giving advice and giving a suggestion, because for some people, hearing like advice is advisatory or a command, and they might have a background where being told what to do like is not a good thing for them. Or I think it's more of a suggestion. Like I could give all the, like you've probably had many health suggestions as far as like food advice, all that, what to eat. I guess it's good advice, but whether we follow it at the end, it's merely a suggestion. And by me just presenting the suggestion to people, if it resonates and people want to follow that, then that's their path to follow. I won't be going down that path with them, because it's like I've got my own life to live. I've got my own suggestions to follow. I've got my own advice sometimes to follow. That's the other thing with INFJs, because sometimes we need to follow our own advice. We can give great health advice to other people or great life advice to other people, sometimes suck that very same thing. It's quite the contradiction once again. But yeah, I think once again, resonating or reflecting back to that we are influenced every single day, even down to the weather. It could be quite hot out or raining, down to the choice of clothing that we put on. It's in everywhere, and I think the benefit of extroverted feeling in INFJs is that we love harmony. And if we're loving harmony, then we're also loving a bit of a peaceful environment around us. And if someone is facing conflict or adversity, we're going to be a bit drawn to that. And I'd also advise, to the INFJs, this is not like permission to go out there and start harmonizing the world, because people actually, once again, have to be ready and willing to accept that help or be open to doing it. You can't force help upon someone. They want to be consensually wanting to change, or maybe in some way of offering a different perspective, they might be realizing that they need change. But once again, it's like you can't force that upon them. It's like going to someone that might have poor eating habits and going, no, take this junk food away, here, have grapes, sort of thing. It's like, guess what kind of result you'll have there. But yeah, a little chat on just the INFJ's subtle influence on people. So I'm down from Eflowtion Support Services, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.